Hi everybody, it's Alexis, and today we're gonna make a comparison between the Wilson Shift 99 300 gram and the Wilson Clash 100. Already, let's go. This is for sure going to be an interesting comparison because if you're looking at the specs and that the purpose of the racket, they're pretty similar, but at the same time they're really different. The Wilson Clash is now I would say a new classic. It was brand new, a couple of years ago, and now it's starting to grow a bit more towards a recreational player. And the Wilson Shift is their new baby, their new model. So we'll see if the Shift is gonna have the same impact as the Clash, but we'll say that for the moment, it's not the case. I feel like the Clash is, I don't like to say that, but is easy sell, okay? You can sell a ton of those rackets and it would be easy. You don't even need to try. But with the Shift, I feel like the many stores here in Canada or in Quebec are not really tempted by this racket. So, we'll see how it will go. Let's go with the specs and then we're gonna go on the court to compare those two rackets. So the Wilson Shift has a 99 square inch head size compared to 100 square inch head size for the Wilson Clash. Then for the weight, you have a 300 gram for the Wilson Shift and you have a 295 gram unstrung weight for the Clash. So only 5 grams difference, so that's pretty normal. And for the string pattern, we have a 16 by 20 for the Wilson Shift and we have a 16 by 19 for the Clash. So only one more cross string for the Wilson Shift, so a denser string pattern. Right, without having tested those rackets together, I think that the Shift is meant a bit to be more consistent. I mean, when you're hitting, should be more consistent, should put a bit more spin, and the Clash should be more comfortable with more flexibility but a bit more inconsistent. So we'll see, and in order to do that we got to go on the court, so let's go. On the court with the Wilson Shift 300 grams, the first thing that I felt with this racket was really consistency. I felt like every ball that I was hitting, I knew where it was going, I knew where it hit my string bed, I knew what to do with it. So yeah, it was really cool. One thing that I also liked with this racket was the fact that you can hit flat and you can also hit with spin. I feel like with spin oriented racket, most of the time when you're trying to hit flat, it doesn't work. But for this one, it works, and it also works for slice. With the Wilson Clash, the first thing that I was impressed with was the fact that this racket puts a lot of spin to the ball. I was expecting a racket that would be pretty easy to hit flat but tougher to hit with spin, but no, it's pretty easy to hit with spin, so yeah, that's a good news. The bad news is the fact that I feel like the racket is flexing too much. It's tough to get the real feeling of the ball. I don't know where it's hitting my string bed, I don't know where it's going. Sometimes it's doing incredible shot, sometimes it's doing incredibly bad shot. So it's tough. Obviously it's my fault, like I need to hit better, but yeah, it's not the best thing ever. But for the rest, for the spin and all that stuff, for power, yeah, it's pretty good. It's a decent racket. No arm issue, obviously. Alright, so what I've thought was pretty accurate, I would say. The Wilson Clash is a really cool racket if you don't want to have arm issues. Okay, that's perfect. But like I said, it's pretty inconsistent because when you're hitting balls that are coming fast, the racket becomes really stiff. And then when you hit balls that are coming really at the slow pace, then the racket is really flexible. So the feeling is always changing. And so it creates a lack of consistency in your stroke. And on the other side, you have the Wilson Shift that is, I would say, fairly comfortable, but that is really consistent in the hitting. And I feel like whatever the place that you hit in the string bed, it doesn't matter. Like it's hitting, going back on the other side. And one thing that I really like is that, the Clash is cool because it's easy to use, but at the same time, it's not as challenging as the shift. So the shift is easy to use, but at the same time you feel like when you're going on the court, you need to be a bit more focused on the court. But when you're playing with the Clash, you can just, you know, hit the ball and it's gonna go back on the other side of the court. I would say for the spin factor, you know, the shift is a bit better, but you know, it's pretty, you know, the same thing. You know, I really like the spin potential of the Wilson Clash. So if I had to go with a winner, I had to go with the Wilson shift just for the consistency behind the strokes. So yeah, the Wilson shift wins this battle. Have you tried those two rackets? Let me know in the comment section. Don't forget to like, to comment, and to subscribe, and see you next time. Bye bye.